Hi, for today's teardown, yes, this, actually it is a street found item. I was very lucky because normally the hard rubbish in street is now forbidden, but in the city the other day there was a pile of hard rubbish from an office apparently, and there was this thing. Sadly, I did not find the very special keyboard going with it, so I will not be able to test it very far. So what do we have here? In the shape of an old desktop computer, we have some kind of early 90s telecommunications device, the Cirius 3000 from EGT or EGT. It is in French probably Entreprise Générale de Télécommunications or General Telecommunications Company. So apparently it does telex, so teletype, teletext, which was pages of information over TV broadcasting, and fax, and also text processing. So super old proprietary device. Probably was super expensive. I was lucky enough to find in the same pile of rubbish the matching screen, which is a white monochrome display. It was full of rainwater, but after drying it is working, except it is super dim. And it is all. I cannot do a lot with it because of the missing keyboard, and anyway I do not want to keep this thing, it is too bulky and in very bad condition, but at least I can power it on for you. It takes a while, and then, so we will not be able to see it. You can hear the weird noises. It is written here text, test 24, and numbers increasing. We have one light here, power light here, and we have to wait. It will do something eventually. Now trying to find the copy, and this. Sounds like a failure mode, but not. Actually, it will proceed further. Probably it is waiting for a floppy disk now. Okay, either it says bootstrap and some hard disk noise apparently. Still trying to find the floppy, and now it is written something on the screen. I will zoom in for you. So in French we have here telex, teletext, télécopie, traitement de texte, la communication de l'écrit. So it is teletype, teletext, fax, text processing, maybe 2 extra lines here, not sure, and the written communications. I cannot do anything else because I do not have the keyboard. But here on the control panel you can see we have the matching lights for the 3 modes. We have a volume control, we have a hard disk light, a ring light, and this might be a hard disk occupancy indicator, or maybe it means the hard disk is full of data. In and out light here apparently, and the power light. It is all what we can have. Here is the logo of the company, the old floppy disk. Okay, now I will turn it around and show you the backside. So here is what looks like the backside. We have a power supply with power output, ACSI bus, Pabst fan. I will zoom in for you. Okay. The information, central unit, serial number, and the dead code here of 1990. The telex or teletype line input with your regular teletype ground, loop or open circuit buttons. On the bottom, connections for one apparently dot matrix printer. Of course, you want to print out your telex. External floppy drive, V24 channels, the display output here with a super old display pictured, and one other printer port which is written use only the LZ380 printer, and it looks like a super old design of laser printer, probably for your fax. And here, so this screen collector is very old school CGA, I believe, monochrome, something like this. And we have here the line for the fax, probably telephone line for the fax, with this typically French old design of telephone plugs, which were a big improvement from the hard-wired telephone lines we have previously, before this, but it was still a very bad design. Because as you can see, the contacts are completely oversized, but were made in the crappiest possible quality of metal, sometimes even chrome-plated steel. Here there are not magnetic, there must be some kind of brass, but the coating gets very dirty, and the design overall is very bad on this thing, because you can stack them together. You have other ones here, and when you stack them you have a lot of play, and it is really prone of doing bad contacts, and it was really poor for ADSL lines, these things. And sometimes even when you insert, in fact, the plug, the one of the blades here will poke out and will be bent outside the plug, and of course it will not work. But you get the idea. So they were still used until 2010 approximately, and now we are turning out to RG45, which is a lot better quality and a lot less bulky. Okay, so we have this phone line, and it is all. About the screen, super generic Korean screen, no brand, or the brand is actually hidden behind this sticker which says the power rating. But if I undo this, we have a void thing, and it is actually a Samsung display. Okay. So time now to crack it open and have a look at what we have inside. So a quick look inside the monitor, very boring and regular monitor design for CRT. The only noticeable thing is we have a linear power supply with a transformer in here with copper shielding around it. So I will be able at least to save the copper, and brown PCB, nothing particular except a completely rotten capacitor here behind these wires, you can see, and it is all. I did just power it on, so I will not touch it any further. So this will go to the recycling center. It will be properly recycled. After I'll salvage only the transformer, the coil, deflection coil, and some wires, I believe. It will be all, because the display is extremely dim, so it is in end of life, this thing anyways. I did turn the brightness to maximum, and really it is not good anymore. But very boring CRT display, but I had to pick it up in order to be able to test the device, even if I was not terribly interested with the display, except for copper retrieval maybe. So, camera is mounted vertically now. What you see here is actually the cover, which is oversized for my area of coverage for the camera, but if I remove it, after undo 4 Torx screws on the side, we can access to the contents. What do we have? Apparently a big motherboard all at the bottom, a few hoverboards, that are pluggable with unpopulated spots here, a metal bracket here for the supporting the monitor probably, and on this side the floppy disk drive and one hard drive. Interesting. I was expecting a bigger design of hard drive, but no. We will try to see if it is original or if it is already a replacement. On top of the apparently super big power supply. So I have to take apart everything in order to show you the stuff. We will begin, I believe, by the two boards here and on the side. You can see it is written here. Disconnect the line for the for maintenance. And where is it? Here we have an arrow of LEDs that are maybe some kind of boot status LEDs. So I will connect it one more time to the mains, and we will see if anything happens with these LEDs while it is booting up. Here we are. So for some reason, when you depress the power button, it will take 2 or 3 seconds to actually power up. Here we are. Okay. And yes. You can see it is some kind of counting in a binary. The boot up steps. So I see a super large IC here, and EPROMs here. So I believe we have at least 2 or 3 processors inside this thing. Now it is making the web noise. Sorry for the white balance, which is ruined by this metal bracket, by the way. So it seems this board is booted up. And now it is waiting for the keyboard input, but we have no keyboard. Okay, it was interesting. Remove the power line, it will be better. And now I will start to take it apart. I will start with the 2 boards here on the sides. So actually it is not coming back together, this thing, I believe. Anyways, I am not planning to keep it, so it will be a one-way teardown. So we have captive screws on the back here, or unusable screws at least, for easy access. This cover here at the back with a phone line that is connected here. So another time for you the informations here on the very old school monitor. Very dirty cable on the phone line. Okay. So we have one first board here that will come out like this. So and here we have, it is called the card here, card CTRL imp laser. So laser printer control board, and we have 4 EPROMs. I will probably dump these EPROMs and put them in the video description, as I have no the necessary equipment. Xilinx, FPGA or something. Giant IC here, Motorola MC68000 P10. So I did check, they are not terribly expensive. Some programmable ICs with a sticker here and here in the middle of your screen, and probably parallel controllers for the printer part. Very tidy circuit boards, you can see, very nice tracks. It is fun here on the LEDs, it is written anode and cathode. And on the back, actually, a bunch of stuff, RAM here apparently. And a lot of surface mount ICs. No ROHS solder here, so it would be possible maybe to unsolder them with hot air. And one bodge, as you can see here, they did use a green wire, expecting I will not see it, but I did spot it. Okay, so this is the first board, and your regular here rack kind of mainframe connector. Okay, so this is the first board. Second board. How is it called? It is not called in any way, quite weird. So Sagem brand, it is upside down, but CIU. Okay, but they did not tell what it means. You can see one Itachi chip here. Is it for the display output maybe? No, it must be some. Oh no, it is a modem thing for, because we have your telephone line here, input here, fuses, transformer, relays, maybe optocouplers. Yes, so it is a line input for the fax probably. And we have here Rockwell chips in this arrangement onto a Doverboard. For some reason there is nothing under it, so maybe some kind of early flavor of modem. A nice little board. I might keep this board, not the complete one, but this board, little board, and salvage any useful parts from here, because we have the fuses, we have relays, which seem good. Okay, so it is the second board. We continue with this metal bracket, so which is still secured in the same way by 2 screws at the back that I am undoing right now. So it is not really much secured, it is just to provide some support for the display, I believe. We have cable here coming from the Telex line input, so it is some kind of line interface board probably in this little plastic box. Yes, here is what we have. Focus please. Yes, line protection board with gas protection thing, 2 fuses, which are not replaceable, they are soldered to the board, by the way. Your 3 push buttons and 1 standoff here, going into this plastic insulation. So this is probably your Telex line interface board, well, line modem board, something like this. It is written card intercom FV for frequency vocal, so tone, and Sagem brand, MHS, the brand here of this IC, and still the same thing, transformer, parts at the back, and all through all construction except on the back, so very typical from the 90s. Okay, what else we have here? This big board I will undo later, because first I want to undo the power supply. So the power supply is again secured by 2 screws, but at the same time it is holding the hard drive. And everything is here is actually attached to the top of the power supply. So about this hard drive, it is a Quantum with, it is fun, look at this, with Apple logo. I was not expecting this. So it must be Apple kind of a file system, so even if I can connect it to a computer, it must be an either Linux or Apple computer, I believe, because I would like to recover any data in here, but it will not be easy. First because it is old school SCSI and probably a very special file system, but Quantum 500 megabytes. I do not see any dead code on here. Maybe on the other side. So I will remove it anyways and remove the cables. So everything is secured here. Okay, I can undo, I believe, this power supply. You will note the switch is actually real mains switch connected to the power supply with 4 big wires. We have an unused wire here. Okay, so I will undo this hard drive, so if you I will be able to see maybe any dead codes on the. It looks like it is not original. The mounting screws actually. There is only one screw on the side here, which is not Torx with washers. Seems quite weird. So what do we have? Quantum part number. I am trying to find a dead code in here. Yes. 95 apparently, so it is an upgrade already, or maybe originally it did come without an hard drive, it was only floppy disk storage, and then sometimes it did upgrade with a hard drive. Okay, so this is a keeper obviously. Then we have the power supply box with still the floppy disk attached on it, and here 4 Phillips screws. So we will quickly have a look inside this power supply without touching it too much, because of I did just unplug the device in fact from the mains. Okay, so it looks like we have a very generic switch mode power supply here. called power supply board. Rubicon capacitors, LCC capacitor here in the middle, quite messy wires and untrimmed zip tie. I hate this. You can see the mains going directly here to this connector for the mains switch. So this is a usable power supply, but considering how old it is, it will go to the scrap probably. Okay, now the floppy disk must be original because we have the Torx screws securing it in place. Okay, now we will have a look at the main board. So about this main board, we will start by removing this dover board on it, which is the Telex processing or teletype processing board, and it is apparently an autonomous computer thing with at least EPROMs, even two set of EPROMs, quite interesting, probably quite proprietary ICs here for Telex protocols or teletype protocols. Okay, power supply here, most probably. On the other side, again a lot of surface mount ICs. There is every kind of brands. You have Philips, you have RCA, you have Texas Instruments, you have Sony, you have Hitachi, ST Microelectronics, AMD, Motorola, NEC. Quite amazing. So this is this board. Again, some EPROMs to read out here. And we have another board here which is upside down. 5e brand still. So I wonder what we have on here. This one is secured by the big pin either. Okay, yes, RAM board with this Siemens this time. RAM ICs HYB 514 256 bytes, maybe probably not megabytes. 10 microseconds access time. Okay, I wonder what all these things are doing here. Maybe they are inductors, some kind of filters, or 0 ohm resistors, quite weird. Multi-layer ceramic filtering capacitors here. Okay, quite interesting board. Maybe I will keep this one also. And we are left with two things: the big motherboard and the actually display board on the front. I will first undo this one. It is not coming back together anyway, this thing. Unuse the wire here for some option probably. The display board from the front will have most certainly only the LEDs. Yes, we have the LEDs. Potentiometer for the volume here, quite a nice quality one. And the mains switch, and it is all. Some little ICs here at the back still. And very flimsy plastic on this thing. I got several bits of plastic broken already. Okay, now we are left with the front panel. There's nothing left except the loudspeaker. But we have a big motherboard which is called the central processing unit. We have a huge unpopulated socket here. And what do we have? Again, all the possible brands of ICs. Here, one more Motorola 68000 with its EPROMs. A battery here which is probably, yes, completely dead. And a number of torque screws to undo to reveal the backside, which will maybe have even more surface mount parts. So I have to undo it. Anyways, the metal part is going to a scrapyard, so I do not know what I will do with this big board. Probably retrieve any IC I can. Read out the EPROMs for sure. Retrieve the big Motorola processor. And apart from it, it is going to the recycling also. Okay, how many screws left? One more here. So it is an early use of torque screws, I believe, 1990. Previously, the Sagem equipment was made with Allen screws, I know, because I took apart quite a few Sagem teletypes back in the time. And they were all Allen. No. Okay, we are out. So the case is now empty without dust, because actually I had to vacuum out the dust before I do the video, because it was full of dust. Okay. On the back, yes, a few surface mount parts, not too much, very shiny conformal coating. No budge this time. Okay, big Sagem logo here. And here we are for this thing, I believe. So this area here I did not show you. Probably a real-time clock, because we have a backup battery. We have a little crystal oscillator here, and even a trimmer capacitor. So it must be the real-time clock, but it looks like yes, the battery did leak more or less on the board, and there is some oxidation. It did even remove the blue color on this capacitor. Interesting. Okay. So it will do a few EPROMs to read out, and a few nice ICs to salvage at least. Better than nothing, and as it was free in the street, I will not complain anyways. Quite a nice surprise to find this, when it is totally unexpected. When I did spot it before I could stop the car and go check it, I did just believe it was an old school computer, but it was a little bit more unusual, which is really nice. Okay, a shame for the data in the hard drive, which will be probably quite hard to retrieve, but it might be all full of teletypes, transcriptions and facts and things, probably in all very proprietary file formats, which I cannot access because I know it is totally impossible to find the keyboard. I did not find the matching keyboard, and I will never find it. This is a totally obscure device. I did check eBay, there was one for sale at one time. at 50 euros, and anyways, of course nobody did purchase it with a keyboard, but it was I do not know even if it was in France or not, but quite a nice thing to take apart anyways. So thanks for watching, bye bye.